Hi folks, welcome to Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint. This is episode 31, 2025. It's called Summer Squeeze. We are painting a refreshing glass of lemonade. We film this once a month at our art studio, Johno's Art Studio, Maria's Ideas, at the top of 18th Street in the south side slopes of Pittsburgh. So if you're ever around, stop by and say hi. Our information is on our website and everything is in the credits there to our information. So what we're doing is we are painting this design. I create each episode to fit if we have a guest. This episode, it's just going to be myself and my co-host Alan Levine. So we both produce the show. I create all of the designs, and we just thought July would be good. I thought this would be good to have a nice glass of lemonade. So what I'm going to do, I have the 10 or 15 minute tutorial that corresponds with each episode in case you need help drawing the design. Now I show you how to use the grid system. If you're not familiar, I will show you this. Oftentimes I'll use the same size paper. We paint on these canvas panels for the show just because they don't bounce, and we like that for filming. You can paint on canvas that is stretched, you can paint on a board, wood, whatever. But this is just for filming purposes. I like that. We always use 11 by 14. So this format, it's vertical, and you can paint the design ahead of time on a piece of paper if you choose. You can use something like this, which is like graphite. It's called graphite paper. It comes in white and graphite. This is the graphite. You draw your design on a piece of paper, and then you lay the graphite underneath, and you transfer the design onto your surface. You can also do that with chalk on the back of your design if you don't want to purchase graphite paper, which it is very inexpensive. You can get it online or at craft stores. It comes in sheets and on a roll, and you can use it over and over and over. This piece, oh goodness, I probably used it 100 times, honestly. You can just use it forever, which is great. But the other way you can do this is, say you printed out even the picture of this, or you printed something and you wanted to transfer to a different size. As long as the proportions are the same or similar, this is more of a rectangle, not a square. It's not, and it's vertical, so that will work. So what I'm going to do is fold. Now this paper, there's a little space top and bottom. You fold your design, or the size of it would be so that whatever is going to be the same proportions. Let me clip this on here. I just put paper on top of this so that I don't have to waste the canvas just to do the drawing. Right? So but I wanted to show you how you can scale it up this is 5 by 7 roughly, and this is 11 by 14, but it will be big enough and be the same size on the overall shape of our canvas. Okay? So I'm going to take the design and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to fold it in half again, so vertically and horizontally. So you will end up with, now you can do less squares or rectangles, it's up to you. The more you do, the more of a reference point you will have to refer to, but usually this is enough. So what I'm going to do, let's see, I will do this in red so you can see. I'm just going to draw on the lines that I created with the creases in the paper just so you can see them. And you can see we have one in the center, and then that's divided in half, and that goes all the way to here. It's a little, I did purposely I purposely used the whole paper. If I wanted to keep it a little shorter and just create the grid from here to here, that's fine, but the paper is closer to the proportions of my canvas. So there we have, and then that goes all the way over to these edges. Okay? Which will, and I'll show you even that's going to adjust it a little bit on here, but that's okay. So we have our 16 rectangles. Now we take, I would suggest using a watercolor pencil, because once you paint on top of the lines, they will reactivate the watercolor pencil. It will just blend and melt right into your paint. If you use graphite pencil, just a regular pencil, you can do that too, just very lightly. I'm going to make this dark so that you can see it. I'll use even a different color. Now you can certainly, here, I'll grab this is an old time ruler here. You can use a ruler if you want to and find it's 11, so 5.5. You can measure the center. I usually don't measure anything when it comes to artwork. I just go for it. So roughly, I'll look, usually if you do it at the top, closer to the edge. So that looks about the center to me. And this looks about the center to me. And again, this is a glass of lemonade. We're not doing a portrait of someone. It doesn't have to be exact because this is your own expressive interpretation of, this piece. Then I'm going to find the halfway point, center, top to bottom, and I'm going to draw a line from there to there. That little bird sound you heard was my phone, but I do have the window open. If it seems a little noisy, just because it's beautiful today, and I love hearing the birds, and it just feels so good. Nice breeze. Good day for a lemonade. All right, so I'm drawing. Again, I'm doing these darker. So I have my 4 vertical spaces, and then I draw a little dot, draw a line. And you can see it's not perfectly straight. Again, it doesn't really matter. This is just to give you a reference point. Okay, so we have the same number of rectangles on here as we do on here. So as long as we draw what we see in each of these rectangles, it will scale it up. This is also a way that a lot of muralists will transfer a design. You could do something from a 5x7 onto a 5-foot by 7-foot wall. You want equal portions, so, or you can also use a measurement, for instance, say every inch on your paper could be a foot on your wall, and that also works. When I do murals, I will start with a simple grid system too and just draw everything in there, but most of the time I don't need it, but if I do it, it's very helpful. So what we're going to do, let's start with the top rim of our glass. So that is the second row down, second one in, okay? And that looks like, you can even put another little line if you want to, if that helps you. So that's a little bit above the center, just slightly above the center of this second one in, and it's little less than half. So it's about right in here. If you want your glass larger, make it larger. If you want it narrower, you could do that. Okay, and then we're going to put a little mark. That's the one edge of the glass. This other one is in the far right, second row down. Same level, same height, but it's just over that line a little bit. So now we have the edge of our glass. And slightly curve it. You don't want it to, just slightly curve it. That's just the viewpoint of how we're seeing this glass. Okay, so there's the top of it. Now we're going to just do another curve, just a tiny bit. And that, so this is the opening of the glass. This is the back and this is the front. Okay, now it's important to determine your height and the width of the base of the glass. The base is narrower, so we definitely want to make sure we go in with this mark. So this one, put my little mouse there. So we have, this is the top. The bottom, I would say, so it's one rectangle in and one up, and it's the center, a little bit maybe to the right of the center, and it's about on, it's I'd say if we divided this in half, 1, 2, maybe a quarter of the way down. So if you divided this into 4s, again, and you can do that. I'm just doing it, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Now you connect. Now I usually don't use rulers, but now I can do this freehand. There's my line, okay? And fix it when I paint, or you can certainly do that if that makes you feel more comfortable. Same thing on the other side. Now that does not mean that it's equal parts. It's over here because you can see the base of it is in here. If you go over here, that would be crooked. So the base is right inside this line or close to it. Okay, oops. So there's the side of our glass. not that one, this line here. Then you just create the bottom. Again, it's kind of just slightly like a little smile because it wouldn't be straight because it's curved, so the sides are going to curve back. Now there's your glass. Okay, now you can draw some of the other elements. You could do it all when you paint. It's up to you. I will put in, say, the tabletop that it's resting on because we do paint the shadow. So we're going to come up just a little. I'm going to come up about 1, 2, I would say 1/6 of your height. Again, it could be up here, it could be down here. On this one, if you want it to look more like this. And then we have our line that we will draw. That's the tabletop or surface, whatever it's sitting on. You don't have to draw the shadow in, but just to give you an idea of where we are here. This is our shadow. Okay, so that's our shadow, and it kind of comes in here. But that, you just do that when you paint it. Now, I would like to get to indicate where the lemon is, the lemon slice on the edge of the glass. So you can find something that's a circle. You could trace around a little shot glass or a cup, or you may have some stencils or something. But I'm just going to put a little mark. So it's this between the top of the glass and this line, this horizontal line. It's about halfway. And all lemons are different sizes, right? They can be. So it doesn't really, there's no right or wrong here. It comes out beyond this line just a little bit here. It's above a little bit there, and then it comes over. You can see it crosses over into this third rectangle, 1 down and 3 over. So that's right about here. So now we can see where our lemon slice, and then you just connect the dots. And like I said, when you paint it, you can reshape it. And then there's your circle. If you want to put the segments in, you can indicate a little mark here. That would be the center. Again, I usually just paint these things in. You can draw them in if you want to. So there's our segments, okay? The straw, if you want to draw that. Again, I just usually add these things when I'm painting, but I probably will have it all drawn ahead of time. And again, that's a time saver. So the straw is up in here, and then it comes down. You can see it below the rim of the glass a little bit, and then it does have the little lines that we would do whenever we paint that. And let's put in, let's just put in here, we have our little sprig of, I guess it could be like a lemon balm, it could be mint, a little sprig of our little hint of our green leaf there, our ice cubes. If you don't want to draw them in, you don't have to, but this might help you see how we were able to work from something smaller and make it bigger. That's another leaf, and then there's another slice in here, and then of course the colors of the inside the drink is yellow. Okay, so that shows us everything here. You could see I'm drawing it from something small, but it's big, right? And again, just by using the grid. Now the one other thing I do want to add is to indicate where these marks are on the glass, like the cut glass areas. So the glass has a very thick bottom, so that's what you see, those reflections in the bottom. So we are, on mine, it comes up to about where this line crosses through. So there's one here, there's one here, it's a little bit wider, and then here, and they go all the way around. So this one is a little wider because it's in the front. These are starting to go around the side because it's a curved item, so that's why they'd be smaller. And then there's a little hint of one there. And then we have the way the glass kind of comes up, that decorative element. We have that, and then we have, so it's to the left, mine is to the left of this line, and then this one, it's where this comes up, where the little, they look like little waves, so where that little peak is, that is where this line on the cup. So all of the details get put in when you're painting. You can see reflection of the surface. It could be a tablecloth, it could be a table, it could be whatever. Some of those colors will go in here, the background color. So that's it. So you have, we worked from a smaller version, and we drew the same thing, same proportions. Might be a little bit wider looking because of the way I did the size of these rectangles on this one. So you could see why the proportions of this is a little bigger, little different than this one. So this made my glass a little wider, okay? Because I used the whole paper, I used that white area all the way around. So if the proportions are wider or taller, that will change it slightly. But you can see here that's your drawing. So that is episode 31. So stay tuned. It's called Summer Squeeze. If you come back, you will see us paint. You can paint along with us and see what paints you need and materials, but we hope you'll subscribe. It is a free channel. It's volunteer. We're all volunteers. I am the producer and host the show with my co-host Alan Levine. So thanks again, friends, and happy painting, and I hope this inspires you to just keep doing some creative things. It's really good for you. Okay, bye-bye.